Derrida's work, The Animal That Therefore I Am, is based on a lecture series he gave in 1997. It explores how humans think about animals and how language has shaped the boundary between human and animal. Derrida challenges centuries of Western philosophy that treated animals as inferior beings without thought, reason, or consciousness. The book's title plays on Descartes' famous statement, I think, therefore I am, suggesting that the animal also is, and our relation to animals reveals something essential about humanity itself. The book begins with a striking and intimate scene. Derrida describes standing naked in front of his cat and feeling ashamed. This moment of mutual gaze, the philosopher being seen by his cat, sets the tone for the entire book. For Derrida, this is not a trivial or comic situation, but a deeply philosophical one. It makes him ask, what does it mean to be looked at by an animal? Why do humans assume they are the only beings capable of self-awareness or moral reflection? His cat's gaze makes him question the traditional human view that animals cannot think or respond meaningfully. Western philosophy has long defined the human by opposing it to the animal. From Aristotle to Descartes, Kant, and Heidegger, thinkers have claimed that humans alone have language, reason, or a soul. Derrida challenges this by showing that these claims rest on unstable definitions. There is no single animal that can be opposed to man. There are many different living beings dogs, cats, elephants, birds, dolphins, and each has its own way of sensing, communicating, and existing. By using the word animal as a single category, humans erase this diversity and create a hierarchy that places themselves on top. He calls this process the violence of naming. Throughout the book, Derrida explores how language and naming shape power relations between humans and animals. When philosophers or scientists refer to the animal, they are not describing real living beings, but rather a concept invented to serve human superiority. The word animal becomes a way of justifying the exploitation of non human creatures for food, labor, clothing, or experiments. Derrida calls this historical system carnophallogocentrism. This complex word combines three ideas carno, which refers to flesh, to meat eating, phallo means male dominance, and logo means reason or speech. Together, they describe how Western culture associates masculinity, rationality, and the right to consume animals with human power. Derrida does not argue that humans and animals are identical. Instead, he questions why difference must always mean hierarchy. Difference should not lead to domination but to respect. Animals experience the world in ways humans cannot fully understand, and this should inspire humility rather than arrogance. He writes that the animal responds rather than merely reacts. This distinction matters. Philosophers often say animals only react mechanically, like machines, but Derrida believes they respond in their own meaningful ways. This response shows sensitivity, awareness, and vulnerability. Another major theme of the book is ethics. Derrida suggests that how we treat animals reflects how we think about other forms of life and other people. He connects the human animal boundary to issues of violence, colonialism, and exclusion. Just as humans have used difference of race, gender, or religion to justify domination, they have used the difference between human and animal to excuse cruelty. True ethics must begin with compassion for all living beings, not just humans. The shame he feels before his cat is not only personal, it is a call to rethink moral responsibility. Derrida also criticizes philosophers who claim that animals cannot suffer or die in the same way humans do. He particularly challenges Descartes' idea of animals as soulless machines and Heidegger's claim that animals live without awareness of death. Derrida shows that these ideas allow humans to justify practices like animal testing and factory farming. Animals do experience fear, pain, and even a kind of mourning. Their suffering demands an ethical response, not denial. A key part of this book discusses the relation between philosophy and biology. Derrida notes that scientific research often studies animals as objects rather than subjects. Even in ethical debates, animals are rarely treated as individuals but as a category. He calls for a new way of thinking, one that listens to the singular lives of animals and respects their otherness without turning them into mirrors of humanity. He proposes a form of limit experience, thinking at the boundary where human and animal meet without claiming mastery over that boundary.